Let me ask you something. What if the person you share a bed with, the person you've built your life around, the person you trust more than anyone else in the world, was quietly, methodically destroying you? Not with their fists, not with anything you could easily point to, but with words, with silence, with manipulation so subtle you'd convince yourself you were imagining it. What if the most dangerous person in your life right now is the one who is supposed to love you most? That's what a narcissistic partner does. And if that's your reality right now, the damage being done is real, it is serious, and it will not stop on its own. A narcissist can be a parent, a sibling, a close friend, even a boss. And in any of those situations, the harm they cause is significant, and it deserves to be taken seriously. But when your narcissist is your romantic partner, the danger is on a completely different level. Because you have given them something you give nobody else. Your complete trust, your vulnerability, your daily life, your future. You have let them in all the way. And that access, in the hands of a narcissist, becomes a weapon. The closer they are to you, the more damage they can do. And nobody gets closer than a partner. Today we are talking about one of the most misunderstood and underestimated dangers in modern relationships. We're going to define exactly what a narcissist is, break down the very real harm they cause, psychologically, emotionally, and sometimes physically, and explain why having one as your partner is not something you can afford to take lightly or hope will get better over time. And if you make it to the end, I'll be introducing part 2 of this series, a video called, Is Your Partner a Narcissist? They Won't Change. Get out now, where we get into exactly how to identify one and get out safely. You are not going to want to miss it. But first, let's talk about the danger. What exactly is a narcissist? Let's be precise here, because this word gets thrown around a lot, and it's important to understand what we're actually talking about. Narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, is a clinically recognized mental health condition. At its core, it involves a deep feeling of superiority, an obsessive need for admiration, and a profound lack of empathy for other people. And that last part, the lack of empathy, is what makes them dangerous. It means they are largely incapable of considering the impact of their behavior on you. Your pain doesn't register the way it would for most people. Your needs are, to them, irrelevant. And when that person is your partner, the one you turn to when you're hurting, the one you rely on, the one whose opinion of you matters more than almost anyone else's, that absence of empathy cuts deeper than you can imagine. Because you keep going back expecting to be seen, expecting to be heard, expecting to be loved the way you love them. And it never quite happens. And somehow, you end up believing that's your fault. It's important to understand this is not occasional selfishness. This is not someone having a bad day or going through a rough patch. This is a deeply rooted personality structure that shapes every relationship they have. And it does not simply go away. In fact, without intensive professional intervention, which most narcissists never seek because they rarely believe anything is wrong with them, it doesn't change at all. The dangers a narcissist poses, this is where people tend to underestimate what they're dealing with. And that underestimation is exactly what makes a narcissistic partner so harmful. The first and most pervasive danger is psychological erosion. Living with and loving a narcissistic partner gradually dismantles your sense of self. Through constant criticism, gaslighting, and manipulation, they reshape how you see yourself, until you believe you are less capable, less worthy, and less sane than you actually are. This is not an accident. It is how they maintain control. And what makes it so devastating in a romantic relationship is that it comes wrapped in intimacy. The person tearing you down is the same person you sleep next to, the same person you've maybe built a family with, the same person you thought was your safe place. That contradiction is profoundly confusing and profoundly damaging. The second danger is trauma bonding. The cycle of idealization and devaluation, being made to feel like the most important person in the world, then being punished or discarded, creates a powerful psychological attachment that mirrors addiction. Your brain becomes chemically dependent on the highs and desperately avoidant of the lows. This is why leaving feels so impossibly hard even when you know logically that you should. This is not weakness. This is your nervous system responding to a very real psychological trap, one that is especially powerful when the person holding that trap is your partner, the center of your emotional world. Third, and this one doesn't get talked about enough, is the physical health impact. Chronic exposure to narcissistic abuse elevates cortisol levels, disrupts sleep, suppresses the immune system, and has been linked to anxiety disorders, depression, and PTSD. We are not talking about hurt feelings. We are talking about measurable, documented damage to your body and your brain. People in long-term relationships with narcissistic partners often find their health has quietly deteriorated in ways they didn't even connect to the relationship until they got out. And finally, there is the danger of escalation. Narcissistic behavior in a relationship rarely stays at the same level. As their need for control grows, the tactics intensify. What begins as criticism becomes verbal abuse. What begins as isolation becomes complete control. And in some cases, particularly when they feel they are losing their grip on you. It can turn physical. The statistics on narcissistic abuse and domestic violence are not separate conversations. They are deeply connected, and because your partner has more access to you, more influence over you, and more knowledge of your vulnerabilities than anyone else, the risk when things escalate is greater than in any other relationship in your life. Why you cannot afford to ignore this. Here is what I need you to hear. A narcissistic partner is not a personality quirk you can manage around. This is not a relationship dynamic that will improve with more love, more patience, or more effort on your part. You cannot fix this. You cannot love them into becoming someone different. And every day you spend trying is a day spent losing more of yourself. The people who tend to get entangled with narcissistic partners are often the most empathetic, the most loyal, the most forgiving. Those are beautiful qualities, and they are exactly what a narcissist looks for in a partner. Your compassion is not the problem, but it cannot be the thing that keeps you trapped either. And if you're sitting there thinking, but they're not like that all the time, there are good moments, I know the real them, I hear you. That's exactly what this kind of relationship feels like from the inside. Those good moments are real. And they are also, whether intentional or not, part of what keeps you there. Hold on to that thought, because we go deep on exactly that in part 2. If anything in this video has made you pause and think about your relationship, I need you to watch part 2 of this series. It's called, Is Your Partner a Narcissist? They Won't Change. Get out now. In that video, we go deep on how to identify whether you are actually in a relationship with a narcissist, why change is almost never coming no matter how long you wait, and exactly how to get out safely, because leaving has to be done carefully and it has to be done right. That video could be one of the most important things you watch this year. The link is right here, and I will see you there.